Finally, the content drought is over. Hey everyone, Parallel here, and welcome to Star Trek Online. And finally, a patch with some actual content in it is coming to Star Trek Online. And what I thought I'd do is go through the patch notes, take a look at all the new stuff, and also there is a new lockbox that's coming as well. So even in the midst of this content drought, we have gotten quite a few lockboxes. Got to keep those dollars flowing in, so let's go through these patch notes and see what is going on, and also let's take a look at the content in that lockbox. See if there's anything cool or interesting to take a look at. Now, as I mentioned, this has been quite a long content drought in Star Trek Online. I believe we've not really gotten any significant new playable content, no episodes, no missions, no nothing, since Agents of Yesterday, I want to say. I know there were some minor things in between here and there, some events, but it seems like it's been a long time. I mean, that was, months ago at this point since we've had anything new. And it's totally understandable. I guess, as you are probably aware, the consoles had their version of Star Trek Online released during that time, so I'm sure that took up a lot of resources at Cryptic to at least someone explain why there has been a lack of content lately. But let me go ahead and bring up the browser window here, and let's go through all the new stuff in the patch. There are quite a few things changed, and some new content that will take the shape of the first item here, which is the new featured episode. So this is Echoes of Light. There was a news post on this on the ARC website, and gave a couple of nice little teasers of what you can expect from this episode. It looks like it will involve the Lucari, which is I believe it's a non-canon race. I believe it's only in Star Trek Online. I don't think it's ever been any of the official shows. But you did meet them in a previous episode. I believe it was with the whole Keldano story arc with the Taxutat, and their star was being threatened, and you saved them. And I don't recall the name of the episode. It might have been Sunrise, maybe? But yeah, I'm forgetting the exact episode, but we will get to interact more with the Lucari, which we met in that previous episode, so that is nice. Good to see some new, some new alien races to explore. Should be interesting. It says you have to be level 10 or higher, so it will be a featured episode. I'm assuming it will get the special treatment where it gets some special rewards, for that time while it is a featured episode. Usually the first limited amount of time when the episode comes out, it does have some special rewards associated. In fact, let me check here quickly on that blog post just to see. Yeah, I didn't see anything here as far as details on the rewards, so we're checking that out. In fact, when this patch comes out tomorrow, I'm recording this one day before the patch came out. They just released the patch notes. When this patch comes out tomorrow, the first thing I will be checking out for sure is this featured episode. I cannot wait to finally dive into some new content, and that will be going up first. And that's actually partially why I wanted to cover the patch notes today, just to go through some of the upcoming changes. And a lot of these changes will be, I'll be covering in more detail in separate videos. Some of them actually do need to be explored in more detail than I'll do in this video here. This is more just a summary and overview of the patch notes, whereas I do want to explore some of the changes in depth later. But I'm looking here at the blog post for the new featured episode, and it does have a picture of these. I'm forgetting the name of the species that lives natively in outer space. It was a very cool episode when the original TNG episode where they met these alien creatures, and one of them attached itself to the Enterprise. It was a very cool episode. Yeah, very much memorable episode. I like that one a lot. But I'm curious to see if they're involved with the Lucari somehow. I'm kind of curious why they included them in this picture here, so we'll have to see how that goes. But new featured episode, Echoes of Light, I'll definitely be checking that out first thing after the patch is released. All right, next thing, new fleet holding, Starbase K-13. This is a pretty big enhancement too. We haven't had a new fleet holding in quite a while since the research lab. And now we're getting Starbase K13. It's always nice to see new fleet holdings in the game. That always creates a nice dill sink in the economy, even though it may only be a temporary dilithium sink, but it is still a dilithium sink nonetheless. And it should at least help fleets, become a little bit more active, maybe get some people back in to start working on the new fleet holding and to level it up. This will definitely be a subject of a later video. It usually takes quite a while for fleets, and I'm sure our fleet will also be working on this as well, but it will take a while to level up the fleet holding and build all of the projects and get to the point where we can actually see all of the the new content it has to offer. I have seen some leaked details on this Starbase, and there do seem to be some interesting consoles, some engineering consoles that look somewhat interesting. I'm not sure if they will be enough to shake up the meta, but they do look they will offer some flexibility to newer players for sure, and just on how you want to slot out your ship, especially if your ship has a lot of excess engineering consoles. What this fleet holding has to offer should help with that, help filling out your consoles, especially as you're leveling up. So looking forward to that. I will definitely create a video on that, but that will be a little ways into the future. But you can read it here. Rebuilding the 23rd century Starbase K13, found after being lost in time for 140 years. Small spoiler alert, if you've played through the Agents of Yesterday story arc, you do see this Starbase, and you do find out why it was displaced in time. And so it'll be interesting to see if they go into some detail about what has happened to K13 in the interim and what's going on there. So we'll see how that goes. So basically, like all the projects, I'm sure will be you restoring K13 back into working order, and advancing this fleet hold through completion will also grant new options for equipping your ship and crew. I believe there are also some bridge officers that will be available. Again, I'm not sure if they will shake up the meta, but they do have some new traits that might be worth taking a look at. All right. Next thing, kit revamp. This one I'm actually really looking forward to. This is a redo of the kit system, and what they're basically doing is kits and kit modules have been revamped. So now that kit modules are equipped to change how they are equipped, and they now support being upgraded. So you can now use tech upgrades on kit modules. Very cool. Very much needed for a long time now, and it is nice to see that. Again, another dill sync. This is more more upgrading that will need to be done for your character. I know that might sound like a disadvantage, but right now you're stuck with these kit modules at Mark 12. It will be nice to finally be able to rank them up. So that is a very welcome addition. Characters no longer will put kit modules into a kit, but directly equip them on the status page. So let me go back here just in game real quick, but I'm very curious to see how this is actually going to work. But as right now you equip your kit frame, and then you have all of your kit modules in there. Now it sounds like this will just be equipped directly on your character page, and you will automatically have five kit module slots that you will be able to slot right away. Upon character creation, you will immediately have access to all 5 slots. So that's another cool advantage. And you'll be able to just slot abilities right in there. Now, the actual kit itself, I believe you could still equip, but it will only provide passives. You're not actually equipping it to be able to store your kit modules in there. It's just you equip it for the passive bonuses. So very curious to see how this is going to work, but I'm very much looking forward to upgrading my kits. Should be really great to upgrade kits like Graviton Spike. There are some excellent kits out there. I really want to see how they scale up. It says kits with unique effects will continue to provide... let me bring back up the browser window here. Kits with unique effects will continue to provide those effects, and kit modules can still be equipped to give distinct abilities. Characters may now equip up to 5 kit modules regardless of level. Yep, very cool. Oh, and the distinctions between Fabrication Mechanic, Research Medic, and Strategic Assault have been removed. That is also very nice. So now you'll be able to equip 5 of any type of module you want. You won't be limited by Strategic or Assault or, whatever the case may be. So if you want to go out, all out with an all research-based science character, you can, which could be pretty cool. It might be worth giving it a try. So that's another nice little change. Kits and most kit modules can now be upgraded. So let's see here. Kits can be upgraded to Mark 14 Gold. Standard kit modules can be upgraded to a maximum of Mark 14 Ultraviolet. They call it actually Ultraviolet. I thought it was Ultra Rare. So the kit itself can be upgraded to Gold, but the kit modules can only go up to Ultra Rare. Kit modules from lockboxes, reputations, and winter-summer events can be upgraded in mark, but not quality. All copies of these kit modules are set to gold quality. Wow. Oh, man. So I wonder if... does that mean Graviton Spike is going to be immediately gold quality? Man, I'll have to check that out after the patch. That would be amazing. That would be awesome. And there are some really nice... I like some of the winter event kit modules as well. I'm very curious to see how those perform at gold quality. Wow, so this change is actually looking very, very nice. Specialization kit modules like the Crystalline Spike, okay, Chronotown Jolt, and Subspace Rift cannot be upgraded. I wonder if that means they're stuck at Mark 12 or they just put them at Mark 14 automatically. I'll have to check that out as well. I do have several of these, so we'll see how that goes. Kit modules now show recharge time on the tooltip. Okay, so yeah. This looks like a really good change. And this is definitely, again, deserving of another video to go into much more detail. But I will say I want to check this out first thing after the patch goes live, probably right before my playthrough of the new featured episode, Echoes of Light. I will just quickly take a look at some of the changes to the kit modules because I will have to equip those for ground combat anyway. So it'd be worth just taking a quick preview of those after it goes live. Very nice change, though. I really appreciate Cryptic going back and revamping that system. It certainly needed it. So here's another one. Graphics update. The visual graphics quality has been improved to meet the standards of DX11 compatible cards. Nice. The upgrade includes a host of new lighting technology, which will significantly improve the visual quality. So basically, this is the new lighting engine that they just released with the consoles. So this is the one area where consoles are actually ahead of the PC. They have the new lighting engine. I'm very, very much looking forward to this. This is, to me, shows that Cryptic is finally willing to actually put some resources and effort into upgrading the engine of Star Trek Online, which very, very much needs it. I think this is one area where a lot of free-to-play MMOs and older MMOs need to really focus on. A lot of older MMOs they've been out for years. I mean, Star Trek Online is over 6 years old. Like World of Warcraft is what, 10 plus years old, 12 years old? I can't remember exactly. A lot of these games have been out for so long. I don't think the developers anticipated the long life of their MMOs, and they were stuck with these now ancient graphics engines that have really becoming a huge limitation. So I really like that Cryptic, actually hunkered down, spent the money, spent the resources, and upgraded the engine. And I hope they continue to do this, honestly. I hope there's a lot of areas that could be improved in the Star Trek Online engine, that's for sure. It's, certainly showing its age at this point, and any upgrades would be very much welcomed. In particular, texture quality could really use a upgrade. animation. The animation engine could really use an overhaul. It is absolutely. I don't want to say dreadful because I know the Cryptic does the best with the the limitations of the engine, but it's just the animations have been so stiff, and they really need to go to like a motion cap or some other kind of system, which are yes, I know those are incredibly expensive, but really would help bring the game to the next level. And so that's good. I do appreciate Cryptic going back and upgrading their engine, and this lighting, the new lighting engine will be their first step in that direction. I just hope it continues. So let's see, graphics tab in options. 2 new options to have been added to which can be turned on or off. Lighting 2.0, which, okay, having this turned off will display lighting prior to this update. Turned on will activate the new lighting system, of course, and it only works on DX11 or higher compatible cards. Dynamic lighting updates light based on environment. So looks like, yeah, you'll have some options to toggle it on and off. I will definitely be toggling this on, and I'm very curious to see how this goes. Based on what I've seen from the console, it looked very much better. Very, very much of an improvement over the previous lighting engine, and I can't wait. All right. Now, on to the general... Whoa. I just saw the first line here, but on to some general changes here. I just read this first line. Each character has been granted 12 additional inventory slots for free. What? Wow, Cryptic's feeling generous. I wonder if we have to go into... I wonder if we'll have to go into the C-Store and like claim it as a promotion, or if it's just automatic. Does that mean also free-to-play players? I wonder if they also get that. That is a very, very welcome change. I know for free-to-play players that the initial inventory slots are very limiting. And hell, even, for how long I've been playing, I would very much welcome this change. I haven't bought any additional inventory on my temporal agent character either, so very welcome change. Cool, thank you, Cryptic. Very much appreciated. I believe, here's my guess on this one. I think they're doing this because of the kit module change. I think there is a trick that a lot of people were using where you could actually store your kit modules in the kit, and it would take up less inventory space. And now that you won't be able to do that because you don't actually slot your kit modules into the kit anymore, I think that's why they're doing this, to avoid any complaints, or just to avoid any general dissatisfaction from the player community. Which, again, great. Thank you, Cryptic. Whether you did it for for that reason or you just felt generous, it's very much appreciated. Player must be level 10 to purchase master keys. This will not prevent players from being able to trade keys if they are under level 10. Not sure the point of that, but okay. I guess they're changing it. Maybe there was some key buying account creation going on where people were creating tons of level 1 characters to buy keys. What that would accomplish, I don't know exactly, but there it is. Players must be at least level 10 to join a PvP match. I'm actually surprised. I thought that was always the case, but I guess I'm wrong. Galaxy map has been disabled for 23rd century captains before entering the present timeline. Okay, just some cleanup there. Enabled ship registry number on 23rd century ships. Results some issues with 23rd century captains. Would play normal 23rd century and normal Federation beam out animations in the login screen. Okay, it looks like some pretty minor stuff here. Resolved issue, which was causing a square field of dots around the TR-116. Nice little change there. Bridge officers and NPCs which follow the player better match speed with the player when the player is walking slowly. Okay. Yes, some minor changes here, but welcome fixes. And then resolved issue with frequency modulator didn't play 23rd century, and blah blah blah. Pretty minor changes here. And also going through the rest of the content here, again, these all looked like quite minor changes, but just a general overview. It looks like it looks like Cryptic made a lot of updates and a lot of fixes to many previous episodes and story arcs and cleaned them up. My guess is this is all due to feedback from the consoles, because they just had a huge influx of new players, probably going through all these missions that have been in the game for, many, many years, had little issues here and there, waypoints not showing up or spawns not happening or whatever it may be. They went through just a whole host of old episodes and fixed all these little minor issues. And that's fantastic. Smash and grab all tons and tons of episodes here that they've gone through and cleaned up. Adding waypoints to the vault, thank God, that's a good one. So all kinds of nice little updates. And this is fantastic because overall what this says is polish. It looks like Cryptic is finally going back to these old episodes and polishing things up. I think that needed to be done. Honestly, ideally, this probably should have been done before the console release, because all those new players on the console probably are running into these issues. But hey, better late than never. It's good polishing of all of the existing content. Some other system changes here. Again, these are all pretty minor. Fleet holdings and the various item requirements such as torpedo. Yes. This is actually a good one. I remember hearing about this earlier. But basically now when you go into your fleet holdings and you're working on fleet projects, now all of the sort of miscellaneous items like torpedoes, devices, and various commodities will all now instead just be converted into an energy credit requirement. That will be nice. It seemed kind of silly anyway, because you always just ended up going to a commodity broker and just buying it anyway and then putting it into the fleet holding. This, I think, just cuts out the middleman, makes it a lot easier. I think that will help. It says, but contraband will be remaining how it is. Okay, that's fine. Contraband is almost its own currency at this point, so it's good they didn't mess with that. Only downside, it looks like, is any partially completed projects that, for that commodity or item, they will be removed and replaced with energy credits, and any progress will be lost. Yes, it's a sacrifice, but I think it is a sacrifice for the greater good, which is just improving, the general smoothness and ease of use when it comes to completing projects. Now this is interesting. Removed any duty officer input requirement on all reputation projects and increased the dilithium input requirements by 100 per duty officer that was previously required. I don't know how to take that. Does that mean like not colonists, but like, non-civilian duty officers and civilian duty officer requirements? Are they removing that from fleet projects? I'm very curious if that is the case, but it will increase dilithium input. So are they converting all the duty officer requirements just to dilithium requirements? That could be good and bad. Now, here's the issue with dilithium requirements in fleet projects. The problem is that you get a horrible return on dilithium as far as fleet credits goes. You only get 1 fleet credit per 1 dilithium. That is horrible. That's atrocious. That's makes it so nobody ever wants to contribute dilithium to fleet projects. Unless they fix that, I don't know if I like this change very much, because that's because of the reward from dilithium being so poor. So we'll see how that goes. I'm a little bit mixed on that one. Updated the speed of non-targetable torpedoes to be faster. The speed of targetable torpedoes has not changed. That's nice. I know torpedo users deal with the issue of torpedo flight speed a lot. Anything to improve that is welcome. I'm curious to see if it is actually a noticeable change, though. Resolved an issue that would cause Kelvin lockbox uniforms and Boolean assault cannon to be removed from the low-buy restore. No, not the Boolean assault cannon. Don't want to see that removed. That thing is OP as hell. Adding power tag messages for entropy builders and finishers. Okay, good. Selling and trading can now be done directly from the crafting materials inventory. Selling and trading can now be done directly from the crafting materials inventory. Not quite sure what that's referring to. Maybe because you don't have to move them to your regular inventory before you do the trade or sell, maybe? I'll check that one out when the patch goes on. The kit module microphoton torpedo launcher now states that it is restricted to use by tactical officers. Okay. And the vendor sell value of override shield safeties kit module is consistent with other modules. Okay. Resolved an issue that wouldn't allow players to purchase the Alachi frigate pets even if all requirements were met. Okay, good fix. Resolved an issue that caused the recruit. Thank God. I heard that this was coming as well. Resolved an issue where the recruit Romulan or Reman bridge officer assignments were not appearing. This has been in the game. This bug has been in the game for ages. I want to say over a year. They keep claiming that this was fixed, and it was never fixed. And basically, the issue is when you're on New Romulus Command and your Romulan captain, randomly you should be able to get a mission in your recruitment for your duty officers where you could recruit a Romulan. And that Romulan had a chance to have the superior Romulan operative trait. And honestly, that was one of the advantages of being a Romulan is it was much easier to fill out your crew with, superior Romulan operative trait bridge officers. And but it's gotten to the point now where SRO Romulan bridge officers were becoming so insanely rare, even those were getting incredibly expensive, even for Romulan characters. So I hope they finally have fixed this time. This would be great. So big shout out for that fix, and that'd be very nice for Romulan captains. These now appear as rare or ultra rare assignments in New Romulus Command. Okay. Very good. Very nice fix there. I hope that is finally fixed. Resolved an issue with the Romulan Imperial Navy combat armor using wrong attacks, multiple choice. Mark packages now correctly state if they give temporal marks. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, yeah, removing some more obsolete text referring to crew, because crew was removed from the game. Thankfully, that was a very useless system, so I'm glad it was removed. The Borg Science buff from Assimilated Accolade is now available in the Reclaim store. Cool. Resolved multiple description errors in power description for Fluidic Cocoon. Chronoton Jolt. Yes, the Chronoton Jolt nerf. This will now only affect weapons and kit modules. That is a big nerf because it will not affect captain abilities anymore. I.e., you cannot use this to get lots of security teams for you tactical characters out there. It's a bit of a nerf, but well, I'll miss my Chronoton Jolt, but there are a lot of other good kit modules that are out now, so I'm not going to miss it too much. There are other ones that are, you could fit into your build as a tactical character. That will be nice. I also like this on my engineer, though, to bring up the orbital beam more often. So it will be missed. Goodbye, Chronoton Jolt. It was nice while it lasted. Any other important changes here? Some minor changes to some ships. All right, so just other little minor changes there. So very cool. Some again, just looks like some minor changes to fix costume parts. Some more changes for the UI. Reputation tab is now hidden until level 50. Okay, no big deal because you can't really do it till then anyway. Resolved an issue with medical bay. 20,000 cannot drop down menu. Okay, more minor changes here. Anything else? Player name. Yep. Very good. Now, it looks like they've also fixed some animations here. I really hope they also fix a lot of, yeah, some death animations. There's a lot of animations that were just getting stuck. A lot of issues ever since Agents of Yesterday went live. So hopefully this will fix these as well. Eyes no longer. Now when the player sits down, well, that's good. Don't want your eyes popping out. All right, so there it is. There are the patch notes. Now, it's not a huge amount of content, I grant you. After this long of a content drought, I would have hoped for, more content, maybe more like a full episode, or not a full episode, but a full like a full episode, content worth of content. So that would have been welcome, but it is good to finally get something new, anything new, even if it is just a featured episode and a new fleet holding, and I guess the new kit modules as well, and the graphics update. So a decent amount of content. I can't complain too much. Now, one other piece of content coming in the patch is the Sphere Builder Lockbox. They did release the stats on this, so let's quickly pull that up. I'm very curious to see how this goes with the Sphere Builder Lockbox, because we just had the Kelvin lockbox, and then we just had an update to the Infinity lockbox, and now we're getting a third lockbox in a fairly short amount of time. So I don't know if people are getting a little bit burned out on too many lockboxes, or I'm not sure what's going to be happening to the key market. I'll be interested to see how that unfolds over the coming days here with the new lockbox. But let's see. Here they did release the actual stats of the ships you can get. All of these ships are Sphere Builder ships to go along with the theme of the lockbox. And let's go through these here a little bit quickly. Just take a look at the highlights. First one is the Dreadnought carrier, the Denuos Dreadnought carrier. Now, aesthetically, you can look at the screenshots here. These ships look, what can I say? They look a little bit odd. Yeah, you can see the ship here. That said, they do seem to give the impression of the, Sphere Builder technology. So they do seem to fit. I'll just say they look very, very alien. They're not like any previous starship design, so they are very unique. That said, they are pretty goofy looking, so I don't know what these things are going to actually look like in space. I think you will have to have a particular particular tastes if you want to be flying around in these ships as far as aesthetics go. But let's take a look at the actual stats here. Now, the Denuos Dreadnought carrier, it does come with the similar molecular deconstruction system of the other temporal ships. So you'll get your defensive, offensive config, support config, and then you'll get the molecular deconstruction beam. Very nice ability. I do enjoy it on all of the current temporal ships. In particular, the Kronos temporal Dreadnought is fantastic. I use it on that all the time. So this is a good set of abilities to have on the ship. What else do we get here? As a pair of hangar bays with Sphere Builder heavy fighters, durable craft. They come with antiproton beam arrays and chronoton torpedoes. What else we got here? Okay, so the ship features Commander Tactical Temporal, nice, and a Lieutenant Engineering Command. So it's going to be a mix of temporal and command. And anything else? Let's just go down here and take a look at the stats, because I believe they all list the stats, the trait, and the console. Let's see how it goes here. So this comes out of the lockbox. It's got 57,000 hull at 60, pretty solid. Not the highest hull in the game, but up there. Shield modifier 1.15, that is pretty good. Certainly above average. Not up to science ship level, but still good. It is going to be a 4-3 weapons config. And let's take a look at the BOF stations here. So we've got the Commander, Tactical, Temporal. Very nice. I really like that. Lieutenant Engineering Command. A little bit unfortunate that's not Lieutenant Commander, so you won't be access to Lieutenant Commander command abilities. 1 Ensign Science, and 1 Lieutenant Commander Science. And then a Lieutenant Commander Universal. Pretty decent. You got a Lieutenant Commander Science. And the Ensign Science. The Ensign Science is the only one I'm a little bit questionable about. I would rather see that one taken away and then made into a Lieutenant Commander Engineering Command. That would be nice. But the Lieutenant Commander Universal gives some flexibility. You are short on engineering seats, so you might want to make that an engineer, especially if you want to use these two slots here for command. But you might also want to put it for a tactical station if you were planning to use the Commander Tactical Temporal for more temporal abilities. But at least you have that flexibility to do it. I don't think you need to make it a science one since you already have the Lieutenant Commander Science. So pretty decent. Not perfect. I think the Ensign Science is the only complaint I would have about the BOF seating, but otherwise pretty good. Consoles, you got 4 Tactical, 3 Engineering, 4 Science. Very nice. Be able to load up on plasma consoles there. Base turn rate 8. It is slow. Not the slowest carrier in the world, but still pretty slow. And low impulse and inertia. Okay, so it's going to be slow. It does come with a console. It comes with molecular reconstruction. It comes with subsystem targeting. It comes with your 2 hangar bays. And it comes with the Tactical Carrier Starship Mastery package. Let's see if it gives any details here. I think the console traits are down below, so we'll get there in a minute. But it goes right on to the next one here, which is the Sphere Builder Edoulg. That's a very weird name for a ship. Edoulg. I don't know any word to say it. Edoulg. Science Vessel, Tier 6. What does this thing come with here? Features a Commander Science Temporal. Nice. And a Lieutenant Engineering Intel. Intel seating and Science. Temporal and Intel. I like it. Now, aesthetically, again, you're going to need to have a particular taste to, I think, really enjoy these Sphere Builder ships. I mean, it is a sphere. That is pretty much what this is. In fact, it's a sphere on top of another sphere. It almost looks like this one rammed into it and left a crater and is now sitting inside of the other sphere. Very interesting looking vessel. But I'm already very intrigued with the temporal and intel seating. So let's go down here and take a look at the stats. This is a Lobi store. Okay, so this is a Lobi store. What have we got here? 46,000 hull at level 60. Not bad for a science vessel. Wow, look at that shield modifier. 1.45. Very strong shield modifier. Wow, this is interesting. It's a 4-2 weapons configuration. I don't know that I've seen that on any science vessels. Usually science vessels are 3-3, or the science dreadnoughts are 4-3. This one is kind of a in-between. It's not a science dreadnought, but it's also a little bit better than a science vessel, because a normal science vessel, because it does have the 4 frontal weapons. I actually kind of wish they would do this more with science vessels. Typically because all of the science abilities and temporal abilities are all frontal arc abilities. So it'd be nice to have those 4 weapons up front to go along with all of your, gravity well and everything else is already a frontal arc ability. So that will be nice. So I do like that. It's a pretty novel change there. Let's take a look at the bridge officer stations here. Now we got a Lieutenant Commander Tactical, nice. Lieutenant Engineering Intel, pretty cool. You would be able to fit 2 OSSs in there if you wanted to run 2, or just maybe 1, and then another engineering ability. You've got an ensign science, one commander science temporal. I guess that's okay because you could put your ensign science ability there and use the ensign on this seat for a temporal ability. And one lieutenant commander universal. So how do I feel about this seating? This actually reminds me a lot of the Eternal. Not well. It doesn't have the internal. The Eternal doesn't have the intel, but it does have the commander science temporal. Lieutenant commander tactical. So there is some flexibility here. I'm just trying to debate how you would use this lieutenant commander universal. Would you use it for an engineer because you're so short at engineering slots, but then you don't really need that many engineering slots on a science ship. You could potentially use it for a science ability if you wanted to go all out with, use this commander for the temporal abilities and use this for any other science abilities. Since it is a lieutenant commander, you could put a Gravwell in there. So it has flexibility. I do like the intel option there. It's just a little bit difficult. Like maybe if this was an ensign engineering, that might be a little bit better because then you could use that along with this engineering seat for a couple extra engineering abilities. You could use it for tactical even as well if you wanted to load out, with like a science tort build maybe. So it's an okay. I think the ensign science is the only kind of limiting thing there. That was maybe an ensign universal. That'd be very cool. That'd be nice. But a little bit of a downside there. But I still think the combination of temporal with intel has a lot of possibilities. So very nice because when you use OSS, that's going to also up your aux power to astronomical levels, which is very nice for science abilities. So that I like it. I like that. A lot of potential there. Consoles, we got 4 tactical, 2 engineering, 5 science. Very tactical and science oriented. Only 2 engineering. I want to say that reminds me of one of the Vesta variants with 2, 5, 4. I do like that console arrangement. Very nice. I mean, 5 science, you can load that up with plasma consoles. Tactical, and then 2 engineering. I like it a lot. Good console layout. Base turn rate 9. That seems kind of on the low side for a science ship, actually. It seems like they're more up in the 11-12 range. So a little bit slower, I think, than your typical science vessel. Does come with a console. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Does come with a hangar bay. So I'm getting kind of a Vesta / Eternal vibe from this ship. But that intel seating combined with the science, I like it. That has some good potential. So nice. Stat-wise, I do like the ship. Now we got one more here called the Arehbes? Yeah, I think that's it. Arehbes Destroyer. It's a tier 5 ship. So this will be one of the more common drops, I'm assuming, out of the lockbox. Probably would be one of the more affordable ships, kind of along the range of like the Tholian Meshweaver and the Nihydron Destroyer, that class of ship. Which actually they can be quite good ships. Those are a lot of ships that I would recommend to new players at level 50. They're usually quite affordable on the exchange, and they're good starting out ships for new players. They're usually a lot better than your typical, the free ship you get at level 40 when you're leveling up. That's the last ship you get. These ones are usually very affordable and approachable for new players, and they give you that first leg up into the end game. And so let's take a look at how this one does. So it's a tier 5. Hull strength 2800, so not very flexible. Can this be upgraded to tier 5U? Yeah, it can be upgraded to tier 5U. But yeah, 2800 hull, not the best. About average hull for like an escort type or destroyer type. It does have a 4-3 weapons layout. But it does have, let's see here, Lieutenant Tactical, Commander Tactical, Lieutenant Engineering, Ensign Science and Lieutenant Commander Science. So kind of a very science/tactical ship, but you still have a Lieutenant Engineering, so you can put in, a couple of emergency power abilities in there, or engineering team. It's one engineering, so it's, again, very tactical and science. It's kind of the theme of all of these ships, I think, for the Sphere Builders, is the tactical and science, and very light on the engineering. 16 degrees, very maneuverable ship. Pretty solid ship. I don't know if I quite rate it up there as much as the Tholian, but still a solid ship. The Tier 5 U upgrade will give you some nice additional hull, and will give you the ability package, and +1 tactical console. So that's going to be giving you 5 tactical, 4 science. That's a nice console layout, actually. So there it is. So let's take a look down here at the consoles and traits. New bridge. Okay, so the Sphere Builder ships come with a new bridge. Nice. That's always welcome. Doesn't always seem to be the case where these ships get a new bridge, but here they do. And I get the feeling that Sphere Builders will be coming in some of the featured episodes. That's just my guess. I honestly have no inside information, but my guess is that that bridge will be used in episodes. That's why I think they will add it for these ships, because when they add new assets like that, they like to reuse them in the actual episodes, which is fine. If you do create, spend resources and time on creating these assets, you do want to get the most out of them. All right, so the first console here, Universal Console, Chronoton Fragmentation Warhead Launcher. So this is on the Denuos Dreadnought carrier. It gets one of these. It doesn't give the stats, does it? No. Just a description here. When the warhead is activated, your ship will launch a projectile that will detonate into a large area of effect shortly before hitting your target. Foes hit by this explosion will be bombarded by Chronoton warhead fragments, which will cause heavy kinetic damage and have their turn rate and flight speed drastically reduced. I could see this going well with, gravity well, suck them in, shoot this with a big AoE effect. It has a passive bonus of critical hit chance and turn rate. Turn rate. That'd be nice. A lot of these ships are a little bit on the slow side, so that would be welcome on these Sphere Builder ships. Again, could be a good console if the damage is up there. If it's, has a good damage, and if the passive buffs are reasonably strong, then this could be a good console. But it can only be equipped on Sphere Builder ships, of course. The other one here comes from the Edoulg science vessel. This is the Quantum Deceleration Field Generator. This is a Universal Console. When it is activated, you will generate a large field around your starship that will gradually slow the flow of time for enemies within its radius. Affected enemies suffer damage over time that will increase the longer they remain in the field. In addition, foes within the field will suffer a reduction in flight speed, which increases over time. After remaining in the field for 5 seconds, they will become held. Targets that remain in the field for the entirety of 10 seconds will suffer a heavy physical damage. Again, I could see this going well with a gravity well, then flying in there yourself and using this ability, trying to keep them all in there for the duration and getting that heavy kinetic damage. Could be interesting. I'm not a huge fan of point-blank AoE abilities that are out there, but again, it depends on the numbers. If the numbers are high enough, it could be very much worth it to use this. Let's see what the passives are. Passive bonus to part gen. Okay, nice. And science readiness. Okay, so pretty decent passive bonuses. Again, depends on how much they are, but has potential as a console. And it gives a set bonus. Okay, so you got a 2-piece set bonus. Plus exotic damage. All right. Pretty straightforward. Plus exotic damage. But again, very welcome for these. Again, all these ships are more science oriented. And that would be a welcome set bonus. All right. Delphic. Okay, so here's the traits. Delphic Shockwave. You unlock the Delphic so you have to get this on the Denuos Dreadnought carrier. When this is slotted, your Photonic Shockwave Science Bridge Officer ability will leave behind a localized anomaly that mimics the effects of the Delphic Expanse. Enemies in this hazard will suffer radiation damage over time and have their damage resistance reduced. Sounds like a good ability, but the downfall is you have to use Photonic Shockwave, which is not the best ability. So unless this really gives an excellent boost, with a really heavy radiation damage, it's probably not worth it because of how lackluster Photonic Shockwave is. But then again, I could almost see there's the other console ability that's also point blank AoE. There could be some interesting builds or playstyle you could go with that, but this is something that Cryptic seems to like to do, that whenever a new trait comes out, they tie that trait to a bridge officer ability that is very underused. I think in order, to try to incentivize people to use these more underused bridge officer abilities. I applaud that effort, but might also be well served by investigating why the underlying ability is not used and maybe buffing that up a bit. If they buffed up Photonic Shockwave, then you wouldn't. That would help this trait out a lot, because you wouldn't have to sacrifice using a lackluster ability to get the trait effect. So we'll see how that goes. Again, it depends on the numbers. But you would have to sacrifice a bridge officer ability to use to slot that Photonic Shockwave in there. The next one is from the science ship, which is the Edoulg science vessel. That you get is the Delphic Phasing. You will unlock the Delphic Phasing Starship trait. You will gain while this trait is slotted, you will gain a stack of partial Delphic Phasing each time you score a crit. Okay, very good. That means a lot of crit builds out there will very quickly stack this up. You may only generate one stack every 2 seconds. Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure in most crit builds out there, you're going to be getting a crit every 2 seconds. That's not a problem. Each stack of the particle Delphic Phasing provides an increase to all energy damage resistance rating and lasts for a short duration. At 10 stacks of Delphic Phasing, you'll become immune to energy damage. And after it wears off, you'll be unable to generate stacks until there's some kind of cooldown. Okay. Interesting ability. So it's a defensive ability that gives you all energy damage resistance and then immunity once it stacks up to 10. Again, it's going to depend on the numbers. How long is the cooldown time before you can start generating stacks again, and what is the amount of energy damage resistance rating you get. The nice thing is that it's very easily triggered by crits, so you'll be very quickly stacking this up. In theory, every 2 seconds, that means in 20 seconds, you could have a immunity. It just depends on how much of this downtime there is after you get the immunity. But this could be added to a lot of the immunity cheese builds out there, because there are lots of these little short immunities that have cooldowns from various traits and abilities. So this could fit into a immunity cheese build. Otherwise, it kind of depends. I see it kind of situational, with some potential depending on the numbers. Okay, then the hanger pets are these Sphere Builder Heavy Fighters. Let's see what they get. Beam arrays, nice. Cronton torpedoes, good. They get arrays instead of, I know pets have a lot of problems lining up for frontal weapons, so it's good that they get beam arrays. Sounds like they should be pretty decent pets. They get Cronton torpedoes and beam arrays. They get beam overload and high yield, and this channel deconstruction. So the elite ones get more. Okay. Seem like they should be pretty solid fighter pets, I think. Oh, and you can get the Arehbes as a frigate. Oh, interesting. And it says you have to get... So if you get the Arehbes Destroyer, then you can use you have access to unlock Arehbes frigates. Nice. What do these get? Delphic Antiproton Beam Array, Delphic Antiproton Dual Beam Bag, Chronoton Torpedo, and Delphic. These look like nice pets. Particularly this Delphic Antiproton damage type. I believe these weapons also come out of the lockbox, the Sphere Builder Lockbox. I will quickly go through that as well, but these look like they actually could be a very interesting damage type. Okay, and there's the Advanced and the Elite. Anything interesting? Rapid Decay, Channel Deconstruction, Torp Spread. Oh, Beam Fire Will. Oh, nice. These pets, wow. I have a feeling these are going to be some pretty fantastic pets, these Arehbes frigates. I'd love to see how these things do. Oh, Fire at Will. And Torp Spread. Nice. So there you go. And the Arehbes frigate is the tier 5 one, so I'm guessing that will be quite affordable. So it should be pretty easy to unlock the Arehbes frigates on your pet if you get one of these other if you get either, the carrier or the science vessel. You should have pretty easy access to get these Arehbes pets. That is actually really cool. I like that. It adds to the value for sure. So those are the ships. As far as my impressions, I'm giving a big thumbs up to the science ship. The combination of temporal and intel seeding should be quite powerful. The carrier is a little bit funky looking, I think, but has some potential with the temporal seeding and command. Curious to see how that would work. So there it is for the ships that are coming out of the lockbox. Just real quickly, I do want to go through some of the other rewards you can get in lockbox. This was also in the news on the ARC website, and there are some other nice rewards you can get in here. I just want to quickly, we just went through the ships, which are of course the main attraction of the lockbox, but there are some other nice things in here. There is the new costumes you can get, which are actually pretty nice. They do actually quite closely mimic the Sphere Builder outfits in Enterprise series, so there is that. Not bad looking, and look pretty close to canon, I would say. We went through the ships, we went through the ship traits. Here is the new weapons. Yeah, so let's go through these. So on the ground, got a kind of an interesting look, a little bit plain, I would say, but kind of have the ornate look of the sphere builders in here. Kind of matches closely with their outfits, I think, with the kind of the embroidery they got going on there. So it is very thematic, I think. So nice job on the weapons. And let's see, we got new traits as well. So we got new ground traits and space traits, and we got new weapons. So let's take a look at all of these. I'll just quickly run through these here because I don't want to go into, and the numbers aren't here anyway, so there's not a lot of detail to even go through. But this would definitely be something to check out in a future video where I can actually, if these are actually affordable, then I will try to pick up some of these and do a video about them. But looks like there's 2 engineering, 2 science, and 2 tactical on the ground. And some of these actually sound pretty interesting. So let's take a look at this here. Distributed shield recharge. Reroute power to shields. Applies a lesser shield heal to nearby allies. So it looks like a lot of these are actually traits that buff up, ground traits, yeah, that buff up an existing ability. So support drone and reroute power to shield. So it actually is buffing up captain abilities. Okay, interesting. I kind of like the idea of this here. Okay, so it buffs up your reroute power to shields, and this one buffs up your assault or your support drones to have a wide beam effect. Okay, so engineers get a buff to your abilities. I kind of like this because, you always are using your captain abilities anyway, right? Because you don't have to slot a kit for those, so they're your captain abilities. And if these are actually affordable traits, these would be actually nice little ways to augment your captain abilities. For science, you get a buff to tricorder scan, which now gives you crit severity. Nice. Nanoprobe contagion. So now your nanoprobe infestation is buffed up. It reduces the recharge time. If the primary target dies while it is active, can't say I'm super excited about that, but tricorder scan crit severity buff. Now that I'm excited about. That's pretty cool. So nice one for science there. Now what do tactical get? Let's see if it is any good. Let's see. Security escorts now throw grenades. Oh man, that would be hilarious. See like a whole team of a dozen security escorts all throwing grenades. That could be pretty cool actually. Just for the visual alone, I think that'd be worth it. Combined assault tactical, reduce the recharge time of fire on my mark. If a target on the ground, if a target dies while it's active, sounds pretty similar to the nanoprobe one. But security escorts throwing grenades, that could be pretty cool. All right, so moving on to the space traits. I'm seeing the same sort of theme here. So there's 2 engineering, 2 science, 2 tactical, and they all seem to buff up your captain abilities. Now here's the thing, another thing I'm actually thinking about this a little bit more. I actually really like the idea of using traits to buff or to, let's say, balance out the captain abilities. Because let's all face it here, guys, when it comes to captain abilities, tactical got far and away the best. I mean, you got attack pattern alpha, you got go down fighting, you got tactical readiness. They're just all excellent. Now, yes, engineers and science do have a couple of nice abilities, but they just aren't quite up there with the tactical ones. And I like the idea of maybe using the trait system as a way to kind of balance out the careers. And let's see if they do that here, because I like that idea. It's like they're not going back and redoing the classes from the ground up. They probably are very reluctant to change it at this point for how long each of the careers have been in the game. But then adding a trait to do it, I think, is a good option. All right. So the first trait buffs up EPS power transfer. Excellent. That is a very good transfer ability. And it is based on, it grants an additional effect based on which power level is the highest at the time of activation. So if your weapon power is the highest, you get a crit chance buff. Engines, armor pen, shield pen, and ox crit severity. Nice. I like that. Nice little buff too. Again, it depends on the numbers, okay? I mean, we got to see the numbers to actually see if it actually is a good effect. But if like you buff up like a science vessel, if you're targeting on someone else, or if you just make your ox power the highest at the time you activate EPS, like if you do emergency power to ox and then hit your EPS power transfer, you could get crit severity out of it, which would be very nice. Again, I want to see the numbers, but I see the potential there. I like that a lot. Engineering, certainly as a career, could use some buffs on the damage output side. Will that bring it up to like attack pattern alpha levels? Probably not, but hopefully it helps to at least bring it up a bit. And a buff to Nadian inversion too, good. This increases energy weapon damage. Okay, again, got to see how much. I would prefer to see it like all damage, like if it were, again, like attack pattern alpha. It would be nice to bring it up to that level. But if it is a significant amount of energy weapon damage, it still could be good. Let's see what science gets. Science careers get subnucleonic beam, drains power from the target and increases your power levels. Sounds like a plasmonic leech on steroids. Again, could be good. It might actually make subnucleonic beam worth using in PvE outside of some very situational uses, but this has always been more of a PvP ability. But it would be nice if it actually gives you a lot of power levels and the duration of that power level increase is decent. That could be actually a pretty good trait. Photonic reinforcement. Your photonic fleet summons a fourth ship. That's pretty cool, I guess. Photonic fleet has kind of scaling issues. I'm not going to lie. Adding a fourth ship will be nice, but I don't think it will resolve the scaling issues of Photonic Fleet. Okay, well, let's take a look at Tactical. Go down fighting can be used at any hull level. Are you serious? Oh my gosh, of course. Tactical, of course, gets the best one. Oh my goodness. Go down fighting used at any hull level. But then again, it might not give the best benefit if you use it at 100%. But then again, you don't have to go down to, a low hull level to use it. So it's just yet again another very nice buff for Tactical. Go down fighting is an amazing buff. And being able to use it at any hull level is actually very, very good. Let's see what else they get. They get Coordinated Tactical Solution. Reduce the recharge time on fired by mark space if the target dies while it's active. Okay, I mean, again, it's okay. It's not a bad trait. It just, you'd have to be able to fit that into your build. But wow, go down fighting at any hull level. That could be a good option, particularly if you don't have, say, for example, the Invincible trait, which, makes it pretty easy to use your go down fighting at a very low health. But if you don't have that trait, and it isn't a very expensive trait to get, if you don't have it, this could be a very good kind of replacement trait to allow you to use go down fighting more often. So I'd like to say I do really like the theme here. The engineering ones have potential, very good potential if the numbers are good. The go down fighting one is awesome. And science is kind of meh. The subnucleonic beam one might be okay depending on, again, on the numbers and how the duration. Okay, so Alliance researchers have been able to, let's see what else we got here. Alliance researchers have been able to study and deconstruct Sphere Builder technology, culminating in the development of new profession-specific kit modules. Okay, some new kit modules. Engineers get an explosive drone. Deploys an explosive drone, a miniaturized version of the Zindi super weapon. Okay, that should be interesting. Got to take a look at that. If equipped, it is equipped with the Antiproton, approaches targets. Drone explodes within close proximity. Could be interesting, but I'm not going to lie, sounds a little bit gimmicky. We have to see how well does it close in on the target, how good is the tracking, how fast is it. It sounds like it might have a long animation time. We'll have to see how that actually works out. But it'll be worth it giving a try. Science gets interphase decay, applies a damage resistance debuff and physical damage over time effect to a target. Damage over time increases over the duration. After 6 seconds, causes a physical damage in an area around the target. You know what this sounds like? This sounds like Living Bomb. That's what I'm thinking of when I hear this. It's like you put a debuff on them, and then after a duration, it explodes and does physical damage. Could be good. Physical damage could be good if it, if you take their shields down, and then after 6 seconds, this explodes. If it does really good damage, it has potential. Also depends, on the numbers. What's the area? What's the damage? What's the dot damage? And Tactical, they get a repulsor burst, kinetic damage to a target with severe knockback. Meh. Knockback on a single target. I'm not gonna say I'm too enthused on that one. Sounds a little bit lackluster, but we'll see. And what else do we get here? Looks like we get new dog pets. So instead of the beagle now, you have a sort of a bulldog looking. They look kind of creepy, I'm not gonna lie. They got like red eyes. Okay. There you go. More pets for you dog lovers out there. Now, there are these new let's see what we got here. Low by store contains a Sphere Builder Antiproton Repulsor. Man, there's a lot of stuff in this lockbox. Holy cow. Ranks 1, 2, and 3 of the abilities. Sphere Builder contains new sphere ground weapons. Yeah, this new Delphic Antiproton weapons. This pack contains a suite of new cannons, beams, and ground weapons, which incorporate Sphere Builder technology. Oop, I have been logged out because I was inactive. Haha! That's my signal that this video has been going on for a long time. But that is okay. I will continue with the final parts of the... Yes, I believe we're almost at the end of the lockbox here. So these can have the lockbox can have these Delphic Antiproton weapons. And the thing that has me excited about these here is this is a new antiproton damage type, and it has a new secondary effect. And it sounds like it is a proc that will give a substantial critical hit and crit severity increase for a short amount of time. That has a lot of potential, because if that procs, if that is a reasonable duration buff and you could proc it often enough to keep it, to have a good uptime on this buff, that has a lot of potential. Does it stack? Does it have good uptime? If it does, having a crit severity buff from a proc from a weapon is actually really, really good. So this new Delphic Antiproton damage type could have some good potential for high-end builds. So looking forward to that. We'll have to see how available they are and how much they cost on the exchange to see if they are, how obtainable they will be. But I do like the look of it. Having a antiproton weapon that gives you a crit severity buff is pretty amazing. Looks like we will also be getting a Sphere Builder Antiproton Repulsor, which has been properly shielded to prevent decay upon exposure to our dimension. It is a weapon, has a single target primary fire and a rapid sweep exploit secondary fire. And it uses the triggers, and it can trigger the Delphic Antiproton weapon proc. So that's what we were just talking about. So it sounds like a new OP Lobi weapon. Will it be as good as the... I'm already forgetting the name of it. The Boolean cannon. Will it be as good as the Boolean cannon? Who knows? But it is an exploit rapid sweep secondary fire that can trigger this very cool proc effect. So who knows? Boolean cannon may have some competition out there. It looks like that is it. So we've got the new pet, we've got the new damage type, the Delphic Antiproton weapons, we've got a new Lobi weapon, we've got new kit modules, we've got space traits, ground traits, and we've got all the new ships. Looks like a pretty solid lockbox. Again, it's going to depend heavily on the numbers, right? We got to see the numbers on all these traits and weapons. But yeah, looks like a very promising lockbox. All right. So I think that about covers it. That covers all of the changes coming. These will be coming on October 25th. With the patch that is tomorrow. And in fact, by the time this video gets uploaded, it will probably be today. So it will be patch day, and hopefully you'll be able to watch this video and find out everything that is in the patch and everything that is in the Sphere Builder Lockbox. Now, like I said in the beginning of the video, I will be creating videos on a lot of the content that was released in this patch, in particular the featured episode, the fleet holding, and taking a look at the changes to kit modules. All of those things I think will be topics for future videos, so please look forward to those. I am very curious to see how how all of this new content works out. It does, it's great to finally have some new content to explore and to create videos about. I will, of course, space them out a bit. The featured episode video will be going up very shortly after the patch notes go, or after the patch goes live. That is my primary goal, is to get that done right away. I love doing the featured episodes right on the launch day. I will avoid any spoilers and go in blind and just see how it does. So very excited about that. The other videos about the fleet holding will probably be spaced out a bit. Those do take usually a while to level up and to see all the new goodies. So those will be, in the future, but they will be coming. But otherwise, that is it. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I do appreciate it. Hopefully this was informative as to, all of the content in the patch. And man, what can I say? It is finally good to get some new content. We have definitely been needing it in Star Trek Online. So that is it. Enjoy the patch, everyone, and look forward to the new videos. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.